Hi everyone, this is Ian with AlphaCars and Motorcycles. Today we're talking about undercoatings on your vehicle. This is a 2020 Jeep Cherokee High Altitude. Right now it's May of 2023, and when this Jeep was brand new in November of 2020, we had this vehicle here. The original owner, a local AlphaCars customer, immediately after they bought it, they brought it to us, and we had it up on the lift. We had all the trims out from underneath it, all the wheel arch liners, down to get to every kind of nook and cranny in the underbody and in the wheel arches. And I will show you this footage from 2020 in just a couple minutes. So this is a pretty cool video because we're going to start in 2020 from when we were applying this undercoating, and today I've got it ready to lift on the lift and we're going to check out the condition of it now. Nothing's been reapplied. It was only the one-time application, and it's been through 3 winters. They have used it every year in the winter. They had snow tires on it. So this will be a really cool video if you're interested to see, does an undercoating actually protect the underside of my vehicle? And what you're about to see with what it looks like today, of course, we know even after one season in the winter and in the salt in New England what a vehicle will look like underneath. So now let's take it back to 2020 and enjoy this few minutes of footage of the original undercoating application.
We're back in the shop with our brand new Jeep Cherokee. It is a different bay where we do the application of undercoating. We just did a first step, which is a black waxoyl product that went on the underbody. As you can see, we prepared the vehicle. We didn't have to do much of the surface preparation, just basic cleaning because it's a new vehicle, but we had to remove, as you can see, splash shields from the wheel wells and splash shields from the underbody. And I'll show you in just a moment how this product looks when it's applied. There's still going to be some light overspray, which we're going to clean, but you can see very thorough, very rich application on all underbody parts. And the next step we're going to do is we're going to remove some of these plugs, for example, and we're going to access rocker panels, enclosed areas of the frame rails, and reinforcement structural components like this floor pan rail and rails like this. So we're going to spray in the holes on the inside. Yeah, that's pretty much how this looks. And we spray in the different angles to make sure we have the coverage all over the area. We applied the product to cross member, engine cross member, because it's made of metal. All the aluminum parts, we did not have to cover them. So this is all good. It looks very, very nice. So the next step is going to be, we'll be spraying waxoyl clear product to the enclosed areas, but you can see how this all looks and how well it is protected for years to come. And with this protection, in a few years, instead of being a rusted vehicle in need of a trade-in or major repairs, this would still be a good solid vehicle. It will hold its value much better. It will look much better. The owner will have an option of keeping it or trading or selling it and getting a lot more residual value versus a vehicle that is 4 or 5 years old and the whole underbody is rusted. It is now all done. The underbody is sprayed with waxoyl, thick black stuff. It is protected for years and tens of thousands of miles to come. All the enclosed areas are sprayed with the clear product, and all the splash shields are back together, and the vehicle is going to be ready to land. Let's have a quick look at how things look right now. You can see that very little of exposed primed metal. Everything is covered with undercoating, splash shields, and Yeah, you can see the clear stuff over there.
So now that we've seen the original footage of the undercoating application on this Jeep, let's live in the moment now, and I'm gonna lift this up and we're gonna inspect the underbody thoroughly, and then we'll all be able to see, does an undercoating protect the underbody of my vehicle? Is it worth, is it worth the cost and the investment? Well, in a short answer, yes, but let's prove that right now. And now with the Jeep up in the air, let's start our inspection. So taking a look, we're gonna work our way from the back to the front. You can see all of these, the lower control arms, the spring, even those brackets for the sway bar right here. And we can see that kind of tacky coating on there still. It's very, very impressive. Not even any surface rust. Usually, as we know, even after one season left unprotected, a lot of these, especially like these bolts that will be steel, or the, especially the sway bar brackets that'll be like mild steel, we can see there's like the slightest bit of corrosion on a couple of the outer edges where the coating was thin and kind of got washed off. Just very, very slight. I can actually just scrape that off with my finger and then it's not there anymore. Left untreated, after 1 year, that whole bracket will almost like turn orange. It's pretty insane. So even looking up, of course, all of these plastic shields were taken down when we did the application. So there's plenty we can't even see without really disassembling, the vehicle quite a bit, but we can see some of the coating up here on the unibody, and we can just see how clean and nice that looks. And same thing, our roof subframe, control arms. Most of the time these control arms, I believe these are steel. Same thing after a year, especially after a couple seasons, the rock chips and salt will kind of start eating away at the finish on these, and then the salt will kind of get to it and start rusting it. And we can see this, so this is untreated on the end of the drive shaft here, because we're not going to coat this in a thick fluid film, because it's going to sling it everywhere and kind of make a mess. It can also cause balancing issues if you coat the drive shaft in it. But this is a prime example of what mild steel or steel would look like left untreated. So that is a pretty good comparison right there of really what you're preventing. So making our way down to the front of the vehicle now. You can see the underbody tray that was coated as well. It's doing very well. The edge is a little bit of surface corrosion on the edge, because once again some rock chips got to it where it was a bit thin on the very edge. It all just looks very nice. You can see the unibody, our pinch welds, even up into the rocker panels there. If I can get the camera to focus a bit better for you. You can see it's all just very clean up in there. There's no corrosion. Back to the front of the vehicle. Once again, we have these bolts, these subframe brackets, everything just looking in tip-top shape. And this Jeep is just in very good shape as well. We can see the bottom of the front bumper. There's no bumps or scrapes or anywhere where it was bottomed out or driven carelessly. Looking up into our fender well, we can see the spring, the strut, a little bit of frame we can see right here. That is all very nice, very clean and rust-free. Same thing, even the coil springs. Even after a few years, it's not uncommon. 4 or 5 years go by in New England. It's not uncommon for the coil springs to start rusting so bad that they can actually break. So that's personally happened to me with a couple with a couple vehicles, and you can just see the condition of the coil springs front and rear. They're untouched by corrosion. Now looking a bit more in depth at the rear, we can see a muffler bracket, part of the frame. Looking up in behind the rear bumper, See, everything is just very well protected still. So we recommend inspecting your vehicle once a year underneath if you have a coating like this on it to maintain it, because over time it will start to kind of wash off a little bit from the elements and just driving the vehicle. But we can see this is really a testament of how well the wax oil is held up over 3 full seasons of not doing any reapplication. Because what we would do is do an inspection and see if it needs a reapplication, and then recommend areas where we would do so. So that's really all I have to show you today on this underbody of the Jeep. I've kind of gone over it a couple times here, pointing out some different areas, but I mean, you can really just see for yourself how good that looks for being a heavily used vehicle in the winter, especially it being a Jeep. That's why we buy these vehicles usually, is so we have a capable and safe vehicle, when the elements get rough and the road conditions get rough. So at the time of this video, this Jeep is for sale as well. So this is also acting as kind of our underbody inspection. So you can see the full picture of what condition this Jeep is in. So if you're interested in this Jeep, then check out our listing for it. It's linked in this video and in the description. But that's all I have for you today. This has been Ian reporting from our Boxborough location. Please leave a like on this video and subscribe so then you don't miss the daily motoring content that we give you.